Hello again. Certain states in America have just recently effectively legalized cannabis. Entrepreneurs, companies are preparing to merchandise the commodity. The future for marijuana looks rosy indeed. But that's stateside. What about here in this primitive, conservative country where the substance is still, in 2014, completely illegal? Possession is an arrestable offence here, and also an imprisonable offence, despite being used by millions on almost a daily basis. Anyone can be subjected to humiliating stop and search operations by the police using sniffer dogs, spot fined, criminalised, imprisoned for possession of what is an entirely harmless and in fact quite enhancing, pleasurable substance on many levels. But I'm not going to go into the positive or negative, hardly any as far as I can see, effects of cannabis. As an anarchist, or a libertarian if you like, when it comes to personal matters, at least I'm a libertarian, I don't think the state or political parties that create and pass the absurd laws on drugs should have any say on what substances, hashish, cannabis, skunkweed for example, should be restricted or prohibited, made illegal or not, even if they could be under certain circumstances harmful. Alcohol and tobacco certainly are, but they are freely available. I would go as far the same should apply to speed, ecstasy, cocaine, legal highs that have been made illegal, opium, all of which have ill effects on some individuals. Obviously there are some harmful drugs such as heroin and crack cocaine, but the same rule of thumb should apply there. I will return to heroin and crack cocaine at another time to talk about that in a separate podcast or vidcast, hopefully. Everybody but a total liar, in other words a politician, or a tabloid hack like Peter Hitchens, or somebody with their head buried deep in the sand, average Daily Mail reader, frazzled by copious amounts of gin, would say that the 100-year war against drugs is anywhere near being victorious on any level, and never ever will be. It's lost, totally. Yet they persist in waging it. Well, millions of us are fed up with being lectured, penalised, criminalised by these hypocritical freaks. As I speak, police will now be searching and detaining people on the streets for small amounts of illegal controlled substances. Quite frankly, it's getting to a point where millions are getting absolutely fed up with a state of affairs, having to justify themselves using these substances, treated as though they are children or morons. Whether it can be excused, as in the case of marijuana, as an effective pain reliever, and I found it to be when I was treated for cancer, far better than the addictive, horrible tramadol I was prescribed, is neither here nor there. I'm saying we should be able to take any substance we want, full stop, even if it's harmful under certain circumstances. It's an individual choice. We're tired, as I say, of being regulated by a bunch of lying politicians and their vindictive, irrational laws. Why should we take any notice of the creatures who are, as we discovered in last Sunday's press, carrying on or covering up paedophile murders? 2 MPs implicated, but still not named. Probably sitting in the House of Lords right now approving laws on drugs. The establishment know who they are, but we aren't allowed to, because we, remember, are too childish to make any informed decisions about it. So on that point alone, why should they be allowed to pontificate to us about anything whatsoever? Anarchists believe in freedom for the individual as long as they don't oppress or exploit others. When they do, it's capitalism. And that means the freedom to take drugs, as they are called, and it's a mostly harmless stuff, like the various forms of cannabis that the majority of users take on a recreational basis. Even with stuff like magic mushrooms, LSD, cocaine, it's our decision as adult human beings whether to decide for ourselves if we wish to indulge in these things or not. It's our bodies, our constitutions, our choice, not some whiskey-swilling, champagne-guzzling politician, some uptight guy in a uniform, or some pervert with a dead sheep on his head. judges, the House of Lords. We need mass open defiance of their drug laws on the streets, like the huge cannabis rallies and festivals attended by tens of thousands of people in Brockwell Park just a few years ago. We need to return to that spirit. After the May elections, the political configurations could mean, hopefully, that the country will become increasingly ungovernable. We've got to start thinking now of mass defiance on all levels, but particularly over things like drugs. It's ironic, really. The illegal drug market is the only true free market on the planet. But that aside, all that remains to be said for the time being about drugs is to hell with their stinking laws and to hell with their enforcement, which is just another weapon that they use to control and dominate us. So on that note, I will say good night.